I'm not ready. No. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
You're always ready.
He was born
Okay.
ready.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our info session for programming for game development here at the Chang School. And thank you all for joining in. My name is Mashur Chaudhry, and I'm the Manager of Recruitment and Sales. And before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for nature and the people who live on the land where TMU is located today. At the university, we've made a deep and long-lasting commitment to truth and reconciliation. I invite you to learn more about this work online. Now, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or the presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to our speakers by typing your question into the question box of the control panel. And you may send in your questions anytime during the session, but we'll answer them at the end of the presentation portion. Now, before I introduce our guest speakers today, we'll do a quick poll. We just want to get things started. We just want to see what we all think and what we think matters the most. What skill do you think is most important in the world of game development, programming proficiency, game development and production, portfolio building, studio workflow, and collaboration? So we'll leave that up for a bit and do our introduction for our guest speakers for today. First, we have Alex Furworn, Academic Coordinator for the Certificate at the Chang School. Next is Dylan Rafka, Senior Support Developer at Unity, Instructor and Subject Matter Expert for the Programming for Game Development Certificate. And finally, Dr. Chris Alexander, Professor of Video Games and Director of Red Bull Gaming Hub. And I'll now invite our Academic Coordinator, Alex Furworn, to go over a brief overview of the certificate. And we'll end the poll and share the results in a bit.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I like the certificate because it actually leads to jobs. So this is a good thing. But let me tell you some of the details concerning it. See if you are interested in actually taking it. So there are 4 courses within it. That's the amount that you'll probably have to pay. The idea is that by the end of it, you'll have a good understanding of the whole process of game development and the tool sets that are available to you for use. The area itself is expanding because a lot of people are discovering that games are a cheap way of actually doing simulation. And so this means that the market is actually much bigger than you might think, because all the things where people think about games, other people think about simulation, and they think about actually automation. So this actually expands the entire offering into whole new areas that people haven't even thought about. So next slide, please. So there's a lot of reasons to take this, even if you're just curious. If you have some technical ability, right? So you've had some programming, or perhaps you're a system administrator in the past, or in the present, this is a great way of expanding your retinue of skills. You have a smattering of programming, you have a smattering of interaction, you have a smattering of all kinds of things that move you forward. We have a lot of interest from our recent graduates. So I teach computer science during the day, and there's only 2 areas really that computer science undergraduate students seem to care about, and that's artificial intelligence and, guess what, gaming. So this is the promised land for a lot of people, and we're hoping that it might be good for you too. Next one. So you're going to get a lot of experience in some technology, quite a lot of it, very popular technology. So the standard game development engines like Unity and Unreal. So these are I would argue they cover 99.99% of all game development that you're likely to see, unless you're doing it from absolute scratch. And you'll also see C# and C++. So that covers everything else, right? So you're going to be exposed to what is actually happening in the industry now. There are components that add artificial intelligence components to the course. So that's been updated to allow you to have that skill set as well. A lot of this has to do with how games are actually developed, which is not just a technical skill, but a workflow skill. So they're going to be going through the entire workflow of how games are ideated, right to how they're actually rolled out. The biggest thing that will be useful for you if you've never actually had a Chang School certificate before, this is quite common in most certificates within the Chang School. We intend you to have a portfolio at the end. Now you think, well, that's kind of a handy souvenir, but employers actually want to see your portfolio. And by the end of the certificate, when you graduate, you'll have such a portfolio to show them. And we have a very good track record with our portfolios and getting actual employment. Next slide. So you're going to be learning a lot of aspects of game development, including formal programming. So that does take a lot of insight on your part, but actually we lead you through it. So the instructors are very good at moving you at your own pace towards the goal of actually being able to put code to game. The program itself is pretty flexible in terms of how long you wish to spend on it. So all of our certificates can be completed within a very limited space of time, but we've discovered that many people wish to delay that or actually stretch it out. So you have quite a long time. You have many opportunities to actually do it as quickly as you like or as slowly as you like. As I said before, we aim at developing your portfolio so it's something you can be proud of, and more importantly, it's something you can show. We talk about many aspects of game development, and including the idea of EDI and everything else that must be added into any kind of successful game for a mass market. So this is an area that we excel in. The university has a deep commitment to this area, and the certificate reflects that. And also our instructors are connected. So they actually have many connections to the industry, and that will turn out to be beneficial to you, because the more people you know, the more likely it are they want to know you. So there you go. And there you are. So next slide, please. And that's it. Enrollment begins basically now. And I will hand it back to you, Mashur.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was a brilliant overview, and thank you for taking us through that. Yes, please visit our website because enrollment is open. If you want to learn more about the certificate, you can go visit the website. Moving along, now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our instructors of the program and also subject matter expert, Dylan Ravka. Dylan is also a senior support developer at Unity. Welcome, Dylan.
Hello, thanks for having me. I guess I can go ahead and introduce myself. Pleasure to be here. Well, my background is in game programming. I hold an advanced diploma from Humber Polytechnic. It's there that I learned about game engines and programming, different languages. And I realized that there is actually more to life than just games. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can make games, you can do pretty much anything. So I created a scuba diving virtual reality simulation game based on my own real scuba diving experiences. And that opened up a whole new world of opportunities for me. I thought I would end up at a game studio, but I ended up in the healthcare space, developing virtual and mixed reality applications for pharmaceutical companies for about 5 years, until I inevitably returned to the game industry, working for Unity, supporting game developers with growing and scaling their games. with the Game Growth Program, and then I made a transition to the Vivox voice chat support team, helping game developers integrate their voice chat and communications so their players can hear each other. And now I'm helping game developers with their multiplayer tools, integrating all the different multiplayer tools that Unity provides. And additionally, it's been a pleasure to be involved with the Chang School at Toronto MU as well. So I've been a subject matter expert for the program and instructing a few courses, and excited to answer any questions that you may have today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Dylan. Now, before I introduce our final speaker, I just want to share the results of the poll that we did. So it looks like programming proficiency and game development and production are leading, and right behind that was portfolio building and studio workflow and collaboration. I just want to let everyone know that all 4 of these are going to be covered in our certificate. So, there's no wrong answers, but thank you for participating in our poll. And that will take us to our next speaker for today. It's my pleasure to introduce the video games professor, public speaker, online education specialist with over 30 years of connecting theory and practice, Dr. Chris Alexander. Dr. Chris is also director of Red Bull Gaming Hub and a professor at TMU. Welcome, Dr. Chris.
Thank you for having me. How y'all doing today? I know you can't respond yet. You could if you're on Twitch. Just joking, we're not live streaming. Anyway, so both Bing and Google refer to me as the professor of video games. Brief introduction. What on earth does that mean? So I break my research up into 3 core areas. The first one is video game design. That's how we create, shape, and make an experience for at least one person other than ourselves. Now, I just answered a question in the chat about whether or not you can use Unreal or Unity and mentioning Godot. And I did also respond by talking about how both Dylan and I looked at game engine architecture in our work at Humber College. So that might be an option for you. But it depends on how proficient you want to be in C# and C++. You sound like you're somebody who's interested in going towards industry. And we know that many companies have their own bespoke engines, most of which are written in C++. Now, we used to have a saying that if you can build your own engine, you have a 100% job acquisition rate. But building an engine is not easy. That's like building Microsoft Word before being able to type your essay. The second area is solo production. This is probably the first Zoom call you've been in where you'd seen live subtitles in real time from the participant as well as overlays. We talk a little bit about that in the program as well in terms of getting yourself out there and the evolution of education via artificial intelligence. Some of you may have seen my first TED Talk. There's going to be another one. But before we get into that, this is the Red Bull Gaming Hub that Mashur was talking about earlier. And this is where we do the pilot training. I'm not sure if we have Chang School classes in there yet, but we are definitely working toward that. And we'll make that a reality since I'm the director. And yeah, if you had a chance to check out the TED Talk, that would be great. How video games can level up education. A new TED Talk that I just recorded on the 1st of March is coming out on the link between artificial intelligence and classroom instruction. I've been spending some time touring the world with groups like Google Audible and KFC and Contentful, as well as working on teaching students how to build their own computers to provide for themselves, their communities, and their families. And relevant to today's discussion about artificial intelligence, I have built 6 different GPTs for y'all. The most popular one is called the Job Auto Apply Machine, where you go to a website, you paste in the URL for the job, it surmises what needs to be done as well as what the skills are. You upload your resume, and then it tells you how what you can do relates to the job, and then it asks you if you want to procure the requested items, and you type in the word yes. So that is find a job, show what you can do, and type the word yes. And if you have your phones out, you can take that QR code. It is free, even for free ChatGPT users. To answer that next question there, which is what specific skills we will master in this program that studios look for, the answer to that is that it's specific to studio. So some studios are looking for artists, some are looking for programmers, some are looking for those who can project manage, but all the skills that are covered in this certificate will help cater. But most importantly, I'm hoping to see exactly which studio you're referring to, because you can't just say studios looking for. There are hundreds of thousands, and when we get to the question about jobs, I'm going to show you some of the jobs that are around right Now, that's it for me. Waiting for, oh, how does, is it question time? I'm so excited. It's like a Twitch stream. I'm so like ready to answer those questions. Sorry, what do I do?
Yeah, no, we are at the point where it is the end of the presentation portion of the session, so we can open the floor to everyone for Q&A. Please, I see people already typing in, so everybody please go ahead and type in your questions. And I know somebody put in a question there asking if this session is going to be recorded because they have to leave at 6 p.m. sharp. So no worries, we will send you a recording of the session and also the presentation. Go ahead.
All right. So the question is, how does the certificate help us build a portfolio that stands out to game development recruiters? Now, I would love to hear more. When you all are asking questions in the chat, make sure you specify your context. Pretend it's a prompt. I would love to know what industry you're from when you're asking that question, because it is better. It'll better help me answer. So this is the generic answer I will give you right now. If we zoom out here, most folks think that the video games industry is focused solely on game programming, which is a core foundation of what we're going to be looking at here in the certificate. But when you zoom out, which is why I was asking about your specific superpower, you will see that there's not a single job, trade, or discipline that does not in some way connect to and through the video games industry. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this, had I known more about your superpower, I'd be able to specifically detail how this certificate will help you, not us, you build a portfolio that stands out to game development recruiters, because you can specifically leverage your current skills to attach to what you're learning here, which will connect to jobs that might be just the video games version of what you already have been doing before deciding or while you're deciding to engage with this certificate. So that's that answer to that question. Looks like I have a background in accounting. Oh, that is spectacular. So some of the ways in which you could help. There is the Canada Media Fund. Now, this is completely adjacent because I ended up working as a juror for them. There is groups like the Canada Media Fund and other organizations that give out interactive funding, and they're always looking for accountants. They're always looking, especially in the AAA companies, for accountants that can help also to look out and apply for grants. And a lot of the grant acquisition has to do with being able to balance the books, but also for grants like SSHRC and NSERC specifically, you need to demonstrate your skills in addition to the accounting practices of the partnering organization. So there's so many jobs. Oh, maybe I should go and look up real jobs right now. All right. So I want to show you a site called hitmarkerjobs.com. I'll put this in the chat to specifically answer that question. Pow. I guess I'm going to send it to host and panelists. And then if you can send that out, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. And so here you can look at what jobs are currently available. I've never done accounting before, but let's try. Just for your superpower, as you just mentioned right now, anonymous attendee, there are 12 jobs waiting for you right now in Vancouver, BC, Kuala Lumpur, LA. Oh, this is Blizzard Activision as well as Activision. And let me zoom in here so I can show you what we're talking about, these skill sets here. Do you see this? Senior manager? Do you see that 194,400? I'll zoom in there a little bit more. Look at, this is my specific answer to your question. If your skills are up to par and you learn how to leverage those skills in this program, you could become a senior manager in accounting. And hopefully, well, I know that that answers your question specifically, but let me go back to this exact link so you can take a look at it yourself later. It goes into the chat and directly to you. Next question, folks.
Yeah, so I think the next one is, how does the certificate help us build a portfolio that stands out to game development recruiters?
I think we just covered that one. I think we just covered that one. Yeah, there's the one that just came in.
Gaming studios like Gameloft and Jam City, probably relating to the first question where they were asking, what specific skills will we master in the program that studios look for?
Yeah, so when you're looking at a company like Gameloft, we have graduates that are working at Gameloft right now, both Dylan and I know as well. And Gameloft, Disney Magic Kingdoms, Asphalt 9, many of their games, mobile games, are written in C#. And so going the route of Unity, if you're interested in learning more about how you could tap into their specific pipelines. Jam City, why do I remember but not remember right now what engines they use? Give me a second. Let me just see some of their titles and I'll be able to, well, it's fun. I could just do this live. Yes, 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 yes.
I want to say Unity, but I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
I agree. I was just about to say, yeah. I can see just based on the mobile, what you'll find with the difference between Unreal and Unity. Now, this is not a complete thing, and Dylan, you can back me up on this, but generally speaking, when you're looking at mobile games that often run HTML5 or in browser, it's a lot faster to prototype in Unity to get it out there, which you'll find a lot of these companies doing that as opposed to working in Unreal Engine. I was an Unreal Engine authorized instructor last year, so even my second game right now, which is for K to 12 students, is being produced in Unity so that we can take advantage of that publishing to web. And that's my answer to that question there.
Oh, and I can actually touch on that a little bit as well. So, in the CKCS 510 course, where you're kind of building that foundation for programming, you have the choice of using Unity or Unreal. You can use Blueprints, you can use C++. If you're really ambitious and you want to try to create your own game engine, we won't hold you back. So you've got options. If you want to become a Unity or Unreal developer, you have the opportunity to explore both and see how they both feel.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, both of you. Great answers. So
so
next question is, can you explain how the program prepares us for both AAA and indie studio environments?
So that goes back to the 4 pillars that we discussed earlier on. In terms of pipeline, you're going to understand obviously how to connect with GitHub as well as Flow, as well as project management. But more importantly, when we're just talking about like Gameloft, for example, we're talking about C#, we're talking about Unity, you could build your own game in Unity, or you can learn about the tools needed to be able to connect to a AAA organization. What's important about this certificate is that you should not come in here saying, what can you do for me? That's one part of it. But the other part is, what do I want to do? We need you to be selfish. I want to work as a programmer at this company, and then we can retroactively understand exactly what direction to nudge you in. Because when people come in and say, I want a AAA game job, it's very important to understand if you're looking at a company like King or Activision Blizzard and or Microsoft, where we're looking at Candy Crush, it might be that they're interested in looking at why 1 in every 1,000 people at a time were spending $1 in Candy Crush, leading to $68 million annually in revenue for King at the time, which got acquired by Activision Blizzard. And then Microsoft came and purchased them all. So specificity will be key when you're saying AAA. Is there a particular company that you had in mind?
Okay, yeah, we'll wait to see if we can come up with a particular company that someone has in mind. Now, I
I love the next one too.
You were answering and typing the answer for the COVID question, but we have a question where the video game industry appears to be in a downturn post-COVID. Has this affected post-certificate hiring rate for graduates?
So that's a wonderful question. I don't believe that it has. I'm sure they will have more statistics on it. But when you're talking about downturn, it's important to be specific about what specific areas and companies are currently in a downturn. And if you look at those numbers, my understanding is that it's a lot of those organizations that have shareholders that have had this idea of quick, free to play, these kinds of markets. If you're looking at games like, transitioning real quick, Venba, which just got released last year. And this is a game that is about a Sri Lankan couple that immigrates to Canada, and the core mechanic of the game is cooking Tamil cuisine. It's doing quite well for its developers and their small team, and the leader, I've spoken to her, and she's coming in to talk to our students about our classes, not in this certificate, but in the undergraduate that I teach. We might be able to sort something out here. But my point is, when we're talking about industry, it depends, of course, on which part of the industry you're trying to get into. And those of you who are interested in building games, those of you who are interested in building interactive experiences, those of you who are interested, more importantly, at becoming familiar with the artificial intelligence tools that can help leverage your ability to build in the game development program, that's what these organizations are looking for right now. And you're the answer that they're looking for right now.
Awesome. Anything else, Dylan or Alex, you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I have one thing. Yeah, so there might be a downturn in the industry, but actually the problem is there's not enough people actually in the industry. So even if there is a downturn and there's less people being demanded, there's still more people than are available to be demanded, if you know what I mean. So when you graduate from the certificate, you'll be part of that that opportunity, right? And we're offering that to you. So thank you.
Okay, so next question, and maybe Dylan will start with you on this one, and then the rest of us can join in.
Okay.
What is the balance between technical programming skills and creative game design in the coursework?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So the certificate is divided into 4 courses, and we remove prerequisites, so you should be able to take them in any order now. So CKCS 510 is I touched on it earlier, the technical foundations for game programming. Now that's where you'll learn the basics of programming. You'll get familiar with Unity and Unreal game engines, depending on your preference, and C# and C++ and Blueprints, and you really get exposed to the technology and the tools that are used to develop games. Very like technical and programming focused. And then 520 is simulating force and motion in games. So that's more focused on using physics for simulations and more advanced collision detection, and maybe some particle systems and things like that. So there's you can continue working on your project from 510 and just keep expanding on it in the 520 course. And the assignments in these courses, they build on each other too. So you start by getting set up with the game engine, coming up with your idea for the prototype. Then you import some assets, because not everyone can create their own game assets, right? And so you're not always paired up with an artist. So sometimes you have to find the right tools online. And then from there, you can get right into some of the coding with C# or C++ or Blueprints and create your own custom logic. And by the end, you have this really nice portfolio piece. So then in the 520 course, you can keep building on it. And then in 530, that's the course that's more focused on game design. And you can actually write a full game design document. You can focus more on specific mechanics and story and narrative and characters and all of that. And ethics for game design. And yeah, and AI is actually included in all of the courses. It's kind of touched on in all of them, but definitely in the 510 course, there's a focus on AI for game development, using tools to enhance your workflow, but also the AI characters in your game as well, right? That's another use of AI in game development. And then of course 540 is the final course, which actually prepares you for working in a studio and collaborating with others and using some of those project management tools and things like that. So the courses complement each other well. That's all I'm going to say. I'll pass it over to someone else. Thanks.
No, that's great. It was great for you to give us a really well-rounded, comprehensive answer. So thank you for sharing that. Now I know we have another question in the chat about, are the skills learned only applicable in the gaming industry? And I know there's some really cool things Dr. Chris can share eventually, and we will get to that where we can see how skills learned in the gaming industry can be applied in other industries and other jobs as well. But we have a question before that, which is, will there be any coverage in classes with regards to the economics, budgeting, monetization of video games and video game development? So I don't know who wants to take that first, but
I could start us off. It's we do touch on it in the 510 course towards the end, mentioning different things you can do, but it is not a specific focus of the 510 course. Now, it may be part of the 540 course, but I'll defer to. I don't think the subject matter expert is here for that course, but yeah, I think it's something that absolutely could be included in the 540 course.
I would just say for my own part, I spent a lot of time researching that with the Canada Media Fund, and there are tons of resources out there to help scaffold that while you're in your classes to look at the kinds of experiences that you're building and saying by genre. Right now, I'm teaching a games industry trends course, and so we look at those numbers about what game students are making, and in this case, the same as you, and what markets those will appeal to, even in the development stage of the skills. Like, I have this game that I want to, and researching that market. For example, video game players in all of the world, roughly 13% of them out of the above 3 billion players have VR headsets. So if you're thinking about making a VR title, think about that 13%. Now remember, it's 13% of over 3 billion. So it's a pretty good number, but just knowing that kind of thing would have to have you thinking about, all right, what's the age demographic? Are there things that motion sickness as folks get older, which is a thing because of the way our eyes move and balance deteriorates slowly with time? What specific demographic are you going to be looking at, and then the market towards there. In a program like this is why we keep talking about bespoke answers. Knowing specifically what genre you're thinking about will help us better build those resources around you, because right now, even though Dylan's saying that we don't touch on it in his specific course, the idea of it coming up based on the genre that you're bringing in is absolutely going to happen. Like if you say, I'm making a VR title, and fun fact, Dylan made a VR title of a scuba diving game back in the day, so he's really well versed in VR, specifically in Unity. I'm sure Unreal Engine as well, but he will be able to tell you about some of the things that he did in that experience and who he intended on marketing it to at the time. So just all this to say that these things will be touched on the more we get to know about you.
Thank you for mentioning that. And I will just also add that I have some experience with the game growth team at Unity, where I did help independent game developers monetize their games with ads and in-app purchases and even user acquisition. So I may be able to help with a few other things. And yeah, I'm flexible with the with what you'd like to add to your project. If it, I think monetization is really important as well. So thanks for sharing that. Very valuable feedback.
I see another question. What kind of hands-on experience with Unity or Unreal can we expect during these courses? A very important question. Now, an easy way to think about learning a new engine is like going to the gym. And I have a statement that I say to all the students when they start our courses in learning a new engine. No one can go to the gym on your behalf. I'll say it again. No one can go to the gym on your behalf. I cannot say to Dylan, go and do some crunches and sit here at home and suddenly my abs are starting to get sore. Actually not possible. And it's the same thing with learning a new engine. I'll tell my students we have a 12-week class. It's different in the Chang School, but if you only touch the engine 12 times, that will be like doing 12 crunches. So how often should you be using the engine? As much as you can. Do not expect to only touch it in front of your instructor and become a master of your craft. It's the same thing with cooking. It's the same thing with shooting a basketball. It's the same thing with learning how to do a backflip. It takes practice, and no one can go into the game engine for you. You have to decide to do it. For example, I wake up every morning at 4 o'clock without an alarm clock between 4 and 7, and I work on something in engine, in a new engine. That's how I learned Unreal. That's how I learned Unity. That's how I started learning Godot last summer, because I know that no one can go to the gym on my behalf. I know that answers your question because it depends on how much work you are willing to put in.
Love that analogy. Thanks for sharing that. Anything Dylan or Alex would want to add to that?
I could definitely add to that. I think that's a great point. It's definitely what you make out of it and try to make the most out of it. The work that you put in will definitely show. I've seen some great projects come out of the certificate already, and you can tell that you can tell that there was like dedication and work put into these projects and passion as well. So yeah, we have our live sessions. They can go for 3 hours, and I'll support you as much as you need, and I'll show you examples. And but beyond that, yeah, there's materials that you can go through to help you as well. But yeah, it's a very practical. The two courses that I'm teaching are very practical and hands-on, because the assignments are very project driven, right? You're building a project in Unity or Unreal throughout the course, and you don't have to start from scratch each time, right? You keep adding to the project, and you can have one really nice portfolio piece at the end, ideally.
Brilliant, thank you. Next question is, does the course cover virtual reality and mobile gaming? So yeah, I know we've been discussing Dylan's Scuba VR for some time, so maybe Dylan, you can start with that, and Dr. Chris or Alex can add in after.
Yeah, we do have some materials dedicated to mobile, Android, and iOS, and VR as well. And if you want to make a VR prototype for the 510 course, for the technical foundations for game programming course, then I would absolutely encourage you and support you in any way I can. I think the MetaQuest is a great platform, and even just if you want to make an augmented reality game on your phone, I would support you with that as well, because I think there's some really great things you can do there too.
And yeah, is there anything anyone wants to add to that?
Well, I think Dylan covered it very well. The only thing I would add is, once again, this is going to be dependent on what it is you want to do, right? We will give you the basic foundations of many areas like Dylan covered, but if you're interested in mobile gaming and VR, that's probably where you would tilt your project toward, all right? It's a quick certificate. It's difficult, but think about preparing for the Olympics. That's what's happening right now in a short span of time, all right? So you get in what you get out what you put in.
Great answer. Are there any examples of past student projects that we can...
There was one that was posted, I think on the social media for the Chang School, if you can find it, from one of the students' page, Allison. She did a great job with her project in Unreal Engine. Yeah, I'm sure if we dig around, we could find it.
Cool.
But I could speak about some of the projects. Yeah, like it was kind of like a mystery kind of game where you were opening drawers and looking around for clues, and then there was a little puzzle to solve. It was really well done, and like I was impressed with what Paige was able to create. And there were a number of other really impressive projects, a racing game made in Unreal, and then some interesting kind of like adventure games that had really nice music and sound effects and animations. So all that stuff is covered throughout the course. And yeah, it's really nice to see how the projects turn out. We do these little presentations at the end where everyone gets to show off the prototype they've created. And we try to invite some industry guests so that they can provide some encouraging feedback. And you get to show off the great work that you've done throughout the semester.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Dylan. Anything else? Any other cool projects people want to speak about? Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I can add one in. It was done a while ago, and it's not a game per se, but because game engines are so pervasive and can be used for so many things, we had a collaboration between an Army Reserve unit that fought in the Battle of Dieppe in World War II. And so they had made a display of artifacts and things like that on a parade ground, right? So they were commemorating this very significant battle in Canadian history, but it didn't come to life because it's just there. So one of the graduates from the certificate, the first iteration of the certificate, not this certificate, created all the assets required to anybody can use their phone to look up a machine gun. So if there was a machine gun being talked about, you lift your phone to that particular picture, and it kind of sets the battlefield for you, what it would look like actually in place. Not a game per se, but it made the whole thing come to life. It was very popular. So you can use your skills for more than simply making a game. You can actually augment other activities that you wouldn't be able to do in any other way, because you know about game engines and you know about how they work together. And so this is something that you don't appreciate till you actually see it in action. So anyways, that's my piece. Thank you.
Amazing. I have an example from last year. It's not a student thing, but just to show you how things can relate outside of games. If I may, what time is it? Let's make sure I'm not going over time.
We're
All right.
good.
This next presentation is about 2 hours, so get ready. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. So briefly, on November 18th, 2002, there's a game that came out called Metroid Prime. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know, Metroid Prime is a game where, for the first time, female protagonist Samus Aran we get to see the perspective of the game from her view. All right. Let's just go right here. Here we go. Now, what I want you to pay attention to here, in addition to this cool music, is what Samus sees behind her visor, okay? If you take a close look around the perimeter, you are seeing where she is in time. You are able to scan items and see in context what is happening, all right? Are you with me so far? All right, great. So what we ended up doing last year in Unreal Engine is taking a full scan of the Daphne Coxwell building, okay? And doing this, we took that scan and put it into Unreal Engine. And then after that, like you saw Samus's head visor, scan visor in that game, we made Samus's scan visor for HVAC and building inspection, meaning we created a patented tool for trainees and building inspectors to stand at the bottom of an actual building, see through the walls, and see the airflow in real time, just like Samus Aran. Now, you would say that this was from a video game, and it was, but the patented monetizable application of this was built in Unreal Engine. That's my exact answer to how it can work, because we're working on a level 2 of this because other people have seen this and say, wait, this is not a game and you've patented it. How can we pay you to build more of these? That's my exact answer using my own research. Hopefully that makes sense to you.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Chris. I've seen it a couple of times, but it doesn't cease to amaze me every time I hear and see about it. It's such a brilliant way to transfer what you learn here into the outside world. So thanks for sharing that. Next question is from Peter. And I know we are almost at time, so we'll get to this one. Thank you for your question, Peter. Peter is asking about I think one of the speakers mentioned that the prerequisites of all courses has been removed, so I could take all 4 courses during summer semester. Is that recommended? Because I have not been programming for quite some time. Will it be a challenge for me to take 520, 530, or 530 concurrently with 510? So
I could start us off for this one, I guess. I mean,
go ahead.
we wanted you to be able to start with the 530 course, especially if you wanted to come with an approach from coming up with a game design document and designing the game and then getting it more heavily into the programming. But taking it all in one summer, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I'll let the others speak to that a bit more. I don't know if it's possible.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Theoretically, yes, it is possible. Has it ever been done? Yes. In fact, it has been done. Would we do it again? Probably not. So it's a ton of work. And so we had one student also named Luke. He was a master's student in the Master of Digital Media program. And he took training basically from the start of his degree. So he did it in, I would say, 4 months. And his project actually was the one I was talking about previously for the that Army unit that was using that. So he went from 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then he took a big rest because it was tiring, right? So while it is theoretically possible to do this, we do not recommend it, but you could try it if you like. Thanks.
Can't put it any better than you just did, Alex. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. It's possible, not recommended. So take it how you will. I know at this time we don't have any more open questions. Any last comments from any of our speakers?
just say it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would
Good.
say, go ahead, Alex.
I just want to thank everybody for showing up, because this you wouldn't know the talent of our instructors until you actually see them. So now you've seen them alive, and they're the ones you're going to be dealing with. So that's kind of our open kimono and offer to you, right? So you see what they're capable of, and you could be that, right? That's it. Thanks.
I just wanted to say, taking the initiative to be here is a clear indication that you understand the direction that is needed to step into the future. Most folks are sitting and saying, I'm not sure if I wanna, but you showing up today saying, you know what, I think I wanna, and that's eons ahead of the folks, that many of them that are saying, oh, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. You're deciding, oh, I know. I may not know, but I know that this is where it's gonna start. So we appreciate you coming out and taking that first step.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for prompting everybody to take that first step and hopefully take the next one. Now we are at time, and before we do our closing remarks, we just want to do one quick poll just as feedback. We want to know how we did, if all of your questions were answered. So I'll leave that up while we do our closing remarks, where we want to really just thank all of our presenters and guest speakers. Thank you, Alex, for presenting. Thank you, Dylan and Dr. Chris for speaking and sharing your experience and your insight. And thank you to Luke and Camille to make sure that everything goes smooth in the background. Now, if you're interested to learn more about the certificate, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, please contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. The information we shared and a recording of the session and the survey will be emailed to you within 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School and our presenters and guest speakers, thank you for joining us today. Have a great rest of the day, and enjoy your weekend. Bye, everyone.